Hey, what's up, guys? So, I'm going to give you a Black Desert update and my thoughts on it. So, I haven't had much, you know, interest in the game after learning about a lot of the systems and such, and then seeing that Blade and Soul was coming out at the pretty much exact same time as Black Desert really made it a no-brainer for me. And I'm, honestly surprised. The Black Desert Reddit here has way more users than the Blade and Soul Reddit, but Blade and Soul's Reddit is growing like tremendously, whereas Black Soul's Reddit, the sub base you can see over here, is like at a crawl. And one of the things that shocks me too is that almost all of the feedback on Reddit and on the forums, their official forums and the Black Desert Online forums, it's almost all very, very negative. There's like no one that's completely happy with the game. And so then there's also the fact that a lot of people jumped into the alpha. They got into the alpha, and then it's kind of like, eh. Like, I've heard of a lot of players saying that, like, they watched character creation. They're like, oh, that's so awesome. Like, an hour of character creation, watching Twitches and live streams of, character creation. And then it was like, okay, gameplay. The basic generic quests that everyone's done 100 times. Very lame, very bad generic questing. No, like it just the hype from the Black Desert went from being like, oh my god, Black Desert's awesome, it looks amazing, it's so cool, it's all, oh, it's gonna be the be all end all greatest sandbox game of all time, to like, looks really good, but gameplay is not really up to par. Like, PvP sucks. There's no balance. It's a solo game. It's like Skyrim. It's a solo player Skyrim game. Pretty much that's it. The economy is whack, and that's one of the things that I personally despise about this is that they have min and maxes on the economy item. So it's not a free market economy. You can actually only list an item on the auction house for a certain amount of money. So we'll say Apex for ArcH fans. Apex would be a max value of 1,000 and minimum value of 500. And like that really just destroys any free market trading system in the economy. Horrible. Hate that. So I'm looking at some of the things here, and there's also been I guess a lack of feedback from the community manager, Oli. So, which is surprising because before the alpha, he was pretty active on Reddit and talking about things. So the big thing they said is that the game is going to be buy to play. And I personally think this is a huge, huge mistake. So buy to play means that you have to actually pay, $50 or whatever it is. They haven't released the actual price points. And then you get to play the game for free. So the reason why I think this is bad is they're going to have a cash shop in it regardless. It doesn't matter whether it's free to play, buy to play, sub to play, whatever the hell to play it is. They're having a cash shop. So you're getting screwed over twice. You're being forced to actually buy the game for 50, 40, 30, $60, whatever it's going to cost. And then now they're going to also have the cash shop in there. And I'm not 100% certain or not, but I believe they also have a optional sub as well. So like, just a lot of these things kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And what I noticed is like I said, a lot of people are very unhappy, and here there's not even many people like voicing their opinions too. So this is the official forums, and the question is, now alpha's over, who is still willing to pre-order / buy founders packs? And they say 8 people say yes. 16 people say if something is fixed, or remaining classes. They're butchering the classes. So there's like 7 or 8 classes in the game currently in Korea and other regions, but they're only giving like 4 or 5 to North America at launch, and they're holding classes back because like, oh, they're too Asian or something like that. That was their wording. So like, they have a lot of issues. Granted, they can fix a lot of these things, but still, like, that requires a lot of work. And I mean, if they want to hit their launch date of early 2016, I don't know how much they're gonna fix. PvE is extremely easy. You don't need parties. That was another thing that I didn't like. Sure, I like PvE myself, but I don't like everything being just like dumbed down, stupidly easy, where it's like one button, okay, oh, easy, wow, win. Like, you have to put thought and combat into like fighting monsters, and I don't like how you can solo like epic world bosses with very little thought or abilities. So that kind of stuff is just really lame. The PvP ranking systems, just horrible. Supposed to prevent ganking, but The karma system is just it's dreadful. And then the ocean, they added an ocean, but there's nothing in the ocean. So people demanded an ocean because Arcade has an ocean, and oceans are cool, boats are awesome, but like this game, like the game itself is so underdeveloped, and it's not really ready for a release. Like the content that you want in an MMO is not there. And I think that's what a lot of people realize is like they even touch about it in the forums and on the posts here, is that like there's a lot of issues. If they keep it as is, this is a game that you'll play it for like 2 months and then you'll be done and over with. Like they're also phasing the housing, so there's instances or channels, and so like there's one giant world, but you're gonna have multiple channels. So like, how is open world PvP gonna work on a huge map but has like 30 channels? Like it's not gonna work, guys. Like if you want to avoid open world PvP, you just jump into like a random channel that no one's in and you're kind of safe. The housing is phased, so like you plant down your house and then like you have the spot, even though if it's like someone else has a spot on another section, like it's bizarre. Like phasing for housing sucks. That's one of the things Arcade did well, was having the housing very limited. They have a housing market. You buy, sell things. It's very sandboxy to have a housing market. To have a phased housing section, it just like, it seems like there's no real sandbox features in the game. The game is very limiting. I don't know. It just seems like the Demu company, since this is their very first game, they have no fucking clue about what they're doing, and it's like they don't know how to fix things, and like they're trying to listen to people here, listen to people there, and it's just like they don't know who to listen to, and everyone has a different opinion on what they want, and so like they need to build this for a set group. They either build it for like the super hardcore players and make straight like hardcore PvP game, or build it more like Arcade, which is kind of like casual, friendly, and then cater to the PvP whales, the Visa and MasterCard players. Like they need to do that, one or the other. But they just like, they're kind of like in the middle of like, we're trying to be hardcore, we're not trying to be hardcore. Like it's like the easy difficulty, but then there's like super bad karma system, which means you can't like gank in open world PvP, and so like it's just bizarre how like there's, to me, little to no hype right now for Black Desert. And Black Desert was like the game, was like the biggest game in the world because it looks so freaking amazing. It's amazing at how much of a downward spiral this has happened in over the last like 6 months or so, since it actually got released. So we'll see how things shake out. The other thing is that why I think buy to play is really bad, and is this because like when you buy to play, who's paying for the new content to be released? So you buy the game, and now it's like you have servers. This is a massive multiplayer online game. People are only expecting like their guesstimates. Like hardcore fans are guesstimating that they'll have like 250,000 players, like high. That's like their high guesstimate, and like that's pretty damn low for an MMO. So like keeping the servers running for that amount of players, server cost is pretty high. After the first month or second month, after the people have bought the game and the initial hype has worn off, like the only money that they're getting is from their cash shop. So they're going to have to load their cash shop up with a ton of pay-to-win stuff. And they're already seeing in other regions that you can trade and sell things from the cash shop. And there's some pretty valuable items in there people sell over and over and over again, and just get a shitload of gold and then enchant their gear and make themselves like really, really powerful, so they can like one or two shot other players. And like, so there's super pay to win in like Korea and other regions. And like that's going to happen again unless they lock all of the cash shop items, make them all bound to characters. So that's a suggestion a lot of players have made. But they're going to want to sell cash shop items. Like they need to sell cash shop items to keep the servers alive. It's not a question of when the game will go free to play, but like, or that's not a question of if the game will go free to play, but a question of rather when the game will go free to play. And so that's why this, like a lot of people have correctly pointed out that making it a buy to play game right now is pretty much a blatant cash grab, because the game is almost guaranteed to be free to play, 6 months, a year from now, because they're going to need the population. They're going to need to bring more players in. They're going to need to generate more sales from their cash shop. So the good thing about the buy to play is it prevents a lot of bots from coming into the game in the beginning, because they have to actually physically buy the game. But eventually the game will go free to play. It's almost guaranteed. Like WildStar converted over from a sub base to free to play. Pretty much every game has converted over from sub base or the buy to play model to free to play. And I think the only game that has not really done that, has been successful, has been Guild Wars 2. But Guild Wars 2 is actually from a really well-known company. It's from NCSoft. And so they know what they're doing. They got their shit together. It's not their first rodeo. They have many, many games, and they do a great job at running MMOs. So it just, yeah, that's why there's not much Black Desert coverage, is because I'm greatly disappointed. The game looks awesome, no question about it, but the gameplay, to me, it's all about the gameplay. And if the gameplay is really just lackluster, or if there's features that aren't there, that, for me, the auction house feature of having having a min-max with not a free world economy is horrible. Horrible. That totally just kills everything for me, because that's, what I like to do. The crafting, I've heard the crafting is just the crafting. Fishing, people say fishing is really good money. So there's some things in the game, but the trade pack system. Trade pack system is kind of just a crappy version of Arcade, I guess I've heard. Again, so flame away. Of course, there's going to be some fanboys, but let's see how many people actually come and defend Black Desert here in this video in the comment section. That's one of the things. Like I said, Reddit and forums, they're all kind of negative. It's I don't see too many fanboys around. Sure, maybe it's still popular on Twitch. I don't know. I'm not searching Twitch. I'm not looking for Black Desert Online. Are you looking for Black Desert Online? Are you still looking forward to this game? Or are you going to kind of wait and see in 6 months, a year, to see how the game shakes out? Because honestly, the game will if the game survives for 1 year, the game will look a lot better in 1 year than it does now. No question about it. But they have a lot of growing up to do, a lot of maturing. It's just like Arcade. Arcade was a pretty shitty launch, pretty shitty Aurora launch. Pretty shitty everything, and then now 2.0 has done a really good job at, kind of focusing things again, making the game more balanced for the most part, making things work, making things, more user-friendly, making things just better. Quality of life has greatly improved in 2.0, and it only took them, a year plus to get that. And I think that it's going to be the same thing. It's a learning process. Will the company survive a year? We don't know. This is a very big question, and this could be one of the reasons why they're trying to just throw the thing out everywhere. One of the big marketing tools is lightning fast. Just push everything out everywhere you can as quick as possible. Grab as much money because there's the initial hype, and then kind of okay, what are we going to do next? What are we going to try and do? And then try to make the game better, but kind of have that expectation of the game is going to go downhill. This is one big giant cash grab. We'll see. And then, so the thing that they've probably been thinking of is that they own the engine that they're using. So they could probably potentially even just sell the engine that they're using to run the game and make a lot of money off of that engine, because the gaming engine is really, really good. And it's that's what generates that graphics and makes it look so amazing. So, I mean, they always have the backup plan of if they fail at the game of running an MMO, running Black Desert Online, then they could always end up just selling the tech that they have and the IP. So we'll see. Time will tell. Will Black Desert live up to the hype? It doesn't look like it.